Join me today as I take a simple piece of dollar store dollhouse furniture and turn it into a cute piece of furniture we can put in our dollhouse. Stay tuned and see how easy this is to do. All right, today we are, as I said in the intro, we are doing a redo on this little Dollar Tree piece of furniture. Now I know Dollar Tree considers this to be a desk, but it's only 1.5 inches deep. That's too small for a desk. But when I measured it and I compared it to online to measurements, it's the right size for a hall table or an entry table. So that's what this is going to be used as. And you can redo this and do it forever, put it wherever you want it in your dollhouse. I'm going to redo it. I'm taking my inspiration from several of them I saw online that were real life, where people had actually purchased a piece of furniture at a garage sale or a thrift store and then redid it or flipped it to use in their home. That's what we're doing here. So I'm going to start by taking out these little knobs, because whether we use them or not is beside the point. They're going to be in the way. Okay, it took a little bit of wood, but that's okay. That's why we're doing it first. And I'm just pulling them out with pliers. Oops, come on. Now that one, I guess we are making new ones because that one just broke off. That's fine. Okay, so that one busted off. So that's fine. We are okay with that. I have an emery board. I have some sandpaper. I'm not going to get rid of the hole though, because I'm going to use the holes as markers for when I make a new one, new knobs then. Let's see, can I pop that out? I'm going to go find something I forgot to put on the table and I'll be right back. All right, now don't do this at home. Let's see. Can I pop that out? No. Okay. Kind of hoping I could pop it out, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Okay. Oh well, it was worth a try. So maybe I will fill those holes. I will have to fill that anyway, so I guess I will. Now this is crooked. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. Let's see if I can angle you. This little piece is crooked, so it sticks out here but not here. Sand that off. I'll probably do most of that off camera rather than boring you. I'm going to get some wood. This is just, again, Dollar Tree spackle. This stuff is awesome. I've been shopping since I moved to North Dakota. Dollar Tree is much more convenient to me. There's a really decent Dollar Tree really close to where I do all my other shopping, and it's I'm doing a lot more Dollar Tree shopping here than I did when I lived back in Oregon, because although there were a lot of Dollar Trees, they weren't really convenient to me. They weren't convenient to where I did my other shopping. All right, we're going to let that sit and dry. Now let's do a really good look at what else needs to be fixed on this. So this needs to be sanded down, which I'll wait until that's done dry now, and then I'll do that. I do need to pop out, clean that up so I don't get, that way I don't have to sand that out. All right, that's got good amount. This is put together really well. This is off, so I'll sand that. I'll need to, I'm going to do a little filling on the ends. I am going to paint this. I'm not going to stain it. So I can use this to fill. If I was going to stain, I wouldn't be able to use this. And it's pretty normal that the ends of the wood would be pretty porous, because it's the ends of the wood. So I'm just filling the ends. I don't want those big holes, because those holes, although they would look fine on a real life piece, you could just sand them. in miniature, they're going to be a little out of scale. So I don't see any big dents anywhere. And I'm not going to make this extremely aged. I'm going to make this look like somebody just redid it and didn't age it. So I'm going to let this dry. It shouldn't take very long for that spackle to dry. And when it does, I'll be back and we will go to the next step. All right, our spackle has had time to sit. And we just need to sand it up. I'm just using a Dollar Tree emery board here. A little more muscle into this part here because I'd kind of like to even that out more. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, these will never really be perfect. Now normally you would sand with the grain, but on the end of this, we have to sand across just to get our line established again, and then we can go with the grain. And again, it's not going to be perfect. All right, now that's probably good enough. I'm going to take, it's just a baby wipe that's pretty much dried out. And I'm going to wipe off any dust. Now I'm going to take some tape. And I am going to, I probably don't need to do the back. And it's not going to be perfect. Let's see. Put this on the front. Let's kind of work this down. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm kind of working it against the fake drawer front. Use my thumbnails to work that in and fold it up. I don't want to have to do quite so much cleanup as I would if I didn't tape. Now, this is inset, so I'm going to use, whoops, that was crooked, multiple. It's sticking to my finger better than it's sticking to the wood. Awesome. And do this, and then another piece we can put on here. I'm going to finish taping this around the edge and I'll be right back. All right, I decided to tape the back too, mainly to protect the top. And I think I'm going to run another piece of tape just down the center. This way I won't take any chances of getting the light colored paint on the top where I'm going to paint it dark. Now I need to find something to put that in. Bottle cap. I have this, what is this called? It's called Vanilla Cream acrylic paint. And I am going to paint the bottom of this with this color. And I don't have a great brush, it's just a cheapy brush. And this may take 2 coats, it's hard to say. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I think I probably will, even though 2 coats won't be mandatory, I'll probably do 2 coats just to make sure I get a good coat. So I'm going to paint, I'll paint the whole bottom. Everything that's not taped will get painted. When it's painted and dried, I'll come back and show you how it looks with 1 coat. All right, the paint is now dry, and it's a little rough because this is a really, really cheap piece of wood. I've got a piece of fairly smooth sandpaper. I believe this is, it's 220. I'm just going to lightly sand. I don't hate the grain there. I'm going to leave a little bit of that. I'm just going to sand just a little bit. Again, I'm going to wipe it off. And this definitely needs a second coat. I love this color. I think this is going to be really pretty when it's done. Go, get another coat of paint on here. And this time I'm only going to do like the fronts of the drawers. I'm not going to do the bottom. I'm not going to do some of the areas that aren't going to show. And remember, when you're working with miniatures, thin coats, because it'll show and look gloppy if you do a thick coat. So I'm going to finish this up. I'll do around the legs and both ends, and then I'm going to let it dry. When it's dry, I'll come back and we will look at what we do next. All right, the paint looks really good. This is actually the next morning, so this has had part of yesterday afternoon and all night to dry. I wanted to make sure it was really dry because, let's see, I think I'm going to peel this tape off camera because that's going to take a little bit, and then I'll be right back. All right, now we are going to tape off. The reason I wanted that to dry overnight was we are going to now add tape over the white, over the cream color, so that we don't get our brown, our top color, into the area that we painted and made nice yesterday. So I'm just running the tape right up against the top. This is a little faster to tape because it's easier to go around that direction. Just make sure that your tape is not on the bottom of the that bottom area there. Make sure it's just on the vertical parts. All right, now the hall tables that I saw that I really liked, they had a dark stain on the top. I'm not going to do a stain because, quite frankly, the grain would be out of scale for this size. So I need to reach. Hold on, I got to get a paintbrush. Sorry about that. I forgot that I needed a small brush to do under that edge. So I am, instead of staining, I'm using a burnt umber acrylic paint. Now this is a nice thick artist acrylic. And for this, I like this a lot better. It just coats so much nicer. So I'm going to start making sure my tape is all tucked. It's hard because the wood color is almost the same color as the tape. Let's see where, yeah, you can see that. So I'm just going to work down here and go all the way around like this, poking as close as I can. But because I've got the tape there, in theory, I won't get any paint on that part we painted yesterday. So I'm going to do the bottom edge of the top, and when that's all painted, I'll come back and we'll do the top. All right, that bottom edge is all done, and now we just need to, I like to use a wider brush for the top. I want as few brush strokes as I can, but I love this color. The burnt umber, I can never remember which one I've got out. The burnt umber looks so nice as a dark wood. It replicates the dark wood stain really nice on here without having to stain it. And like I said, the grain on this is just out of scale because this is cheap wood. It's not nice wood like you'd find on nice dollhouse furniture. Now if you want to use a lighter color, feel free to. You can do this any way you want. I'm just showing you the method that I'm using. Whoa, I got some paint on. I had it on my finger and I got it there. Well, that is easy enough to fix. We'll do that right now. Let me get all the spaces coated here. Show you my cheat way to fix that. and it's on the back, it's on the front, so that won't show up at all now. Make sure I've done that. I really should make sure I don't have paint on my fingers before I pick it up. Okay, there we go. Let's let this paint dry and then I'll be back. All right, our paint on top is dried, so it's time to untape and see how we did. See if we've got any places we need to fix. I think that looks just fine. I mean, I didn't get quite under there, but that's okay. Nobody's really going to see that. So now it's time to put a clear finish on, and then we'll just need to do the knobs. So I picked up some satin Mod Podge the other day, which I have not opened yet. Now my rule is I don't ever use Mod Podge directly out of the container. I pour out some, and if there's any left, I will probably throw it away. I don't want to take a chance on putting anything into my Mod Podge that doesn't belong there, like any paint that may not be dry. So let's start on the back. I'm going to coat this, give it a nice coat of clear satin Mod Podge. And I think for this, I think we've all seen Mod Podge go on. You know it goes on white. It dries clear. Don't put on too thick a coat. If you put on too thick of a coat, it will discolor. It will turn kind of a yellow and looks really gross. Also, the more glossy, matte Mod Podge very seldom gets sticky. Glossy Mod Podge gets sticky more often. Satin does sometimes, and it just depends on what you're using it on and what the humidity is, where you're using it. So I'm going to turn the camera off to keep this video short because you don't need to watch me Mod Podge. You've seen that a million times. When it's all covered and then dried, I'll come back and we'll make some handles. All right, this looks fantastic. The finish is dried. It looks great. It's exactly what I was looking for. So now it's time to create some little drawer pulls or handles. And I dug out some polymer clay, of course. I've got, and it's just going to take a tiny, tiny amount. And I don't have a ceramic tile to work on, so I'm going to work directly on the paper plate. What I have here is, let me dig out my, I have Sculpey 3 in pewter, and I have just some Primo in black, and I don't need much. I've got an idea what color I want. I'm hoping I want a kind of a gunmetal type metal look. So I'm going to mush these together. My clay has not been touched in over a year, so it took me a while to get it even up to where I could work with it. A little darker than that. I don't want it black, but I don't want it really light either. I'm going to continue working this together until it's completely mixed, and then I'll be back. All right, it's pretty well mixed. It's not completely, I kind of like the way it looks right now, so I'm hoping this works. I've got one of the little pieces that came out before. So let's see if I can get this. And a snake. Since I filled the holes, I won't be making them quite this big, but I'm going to make quite a few, and that way hopefully I can pick out 3 that I like that are approximately the same size. And all right, I'll do the rest of this off camera, but I think you probably know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make a little ball. So I'm going to make all of this clay into little balls like that. I'm going to bake it on this paper plate in my oven at 275 for probably about 5 minutes. And when it's done and cooled, I'll come back and we'll see if we can get some handles to work. All right, so I baked off some of that polymer clay, and in fact, I baked off the whole thing in little tiny balls that I can use for various things. And the only glue I have on hand right now that is polymer clay friendly is some super glue. So we're going to see how well this works. Super glue does not work incredibly well with polymer clay, but at least it won't eat it. And I need to remember to shop for some new polymer clay friendly glue. So don't want to get my fingers in that. So here, oops. There we go. So we'll let that glue set up, and we have a hall table for the dollhouse made from a Dollar Tree piece of doll furniture and some polymer clay and some paint and finish. I think this turned out really cute. Certainly looks like it cost more than $1, and I think it'll look wonderful in your dollhouse. So let me know if you make one of these. Be sure and share pictures over on the Facebook group. I'm glad you watched the video. If you haven't subscribed, please do so and hit the notification bell. I will talk to you later. Bye.